Good afternoon in South Africa. We will say goeiemiddag in South Africa. Namaste, salam, peace. In China, we will greet by saying Ni hao mei. Mera naam Muhammad Junnad Chafeker hai. So my grandfather, Ghulam Baba Chafeker, came from Maharashtra province and settled in South Africa in 1909. I never met him because he passed away in 1963. So my roots actually is from India. From my mother's side, my mother is a German Turkish woman. She passed away 2 months ago on the 25th of August. So this book that we've just launched is actually dedicated to her. But coming to India, I've been in India as a young boy about 20 years ago. And then I traveled to Bombay and Calcutta, Bangalore, Delhi. I spent about 3 months in India. But I did not find the time, perhaps I should have, I didn't find the time to visit my grandfather's gaon and his village in Maharashtra province. But I got the opportunity to do that now. So it was an amazing 3 days meeting family of my father and my grandfather for the very first time. And then they spoke to me in the local dialect in the village. They spoke to me in the Kokan language, in Kokni. And I did not understand because I understand Urdu, because my father's been speaking Urdu to us over the years. Important to preserve your family's culture and their traditions. And I think that's the reason why my father continued to speak to us. And then they spoke to me in Kokni, and I replied in Mandarin, in Chinese, and I started speaking. So they were thinking where they were going to get someone to do the tarjuma and the translation. It's in Mahad, in the district, or in Raigad somewhere. So thinking about it now, I was born in Cape Town. I came from very humble beginnings. I had a very close family, and I'm thankful to my parents for supporting me and guiding me over the years. I could have chosen to become a professional cricketer and maybe even play for the Proteas. And I want to take this opportunity and in a belated way congratulate the Indian team under the leadership of Virat Kohli, and also the outstanding batsmanship of Rohit Sharma, because the Indian team gave the Protea South African team a whitewash in the Test series. And I think because we've got all the senior cricketers like Hashim Amla, Dale Steyn, A.B. de Villiers, who have retired. So now our team needs to rebuild from there. And then at the same time, I want to congratulate our national rugby team. 2 days ago in Japan, our Springbok rugby team became world champions. They beat England in the final. And our team and our national team was led by a Xhosa black South African who lived in a very rural village in South Africa, an area called Zweden. And I think that is a very positive story for our country. He also came from humble beginnings, Siya Kolisi, and he led our national team. And South Africa at the World Cup, they were the underdogs. But despite being the underdogs, they had the passion and the drive. In Kung Fu, we will say they had the chi, the zen, the energy, because they wanted to attack the opposition. And that is what India did to the Proteas. So they never had a chance at all in the Test series. So I want to congratulate our national team. I know today was declared a national holiday by our president, the Honorable Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, because of our national team. And there will be a national parade from the 7th to the 11th of November. And I think that proves to us how important sport and martial arts can be. It can unite a nation. And in South Africa, we have 11 diversities, 11 ethnicities. And I know there are literally dozens in India. Thousands, you know. So we can learn from India, and I know we have the common relationship through BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And our national government has a very close relationship with the Indian government. And through sport, we can actually enhance our relationship. through martial arts, we can also improve upon that relationship. And it can unite a nation, because that is what our national team has done once again 2 days ago. But my story is not cricket, and it's not rugby, it's not football. My story is Kung Fu. So, as a youngster growing up in Cape Town, I never thought that I would travel the world, that I would rise up from those humble beginnings and ultimately become a world champion 3 times and a 5 times gold medalist, and that I would work with our youth in South Africa that come from humble beginnings and disadvantaged backgrounds. But through sport and martial arts, we can connect with our youth and we can provide them with opportunities. So not only do they develop, but they understand that through sport and martial arts, they can become more disciplined, more focused. And for me as a professional athlete, I never knew that I would end up traveling to Hong Kong, to China, to Indonesia, to Thailand, now India again, to the United States. And now next year, it's been confirmed that I will go to Malaysia and Indonesia again, and Singapore. And through traveling, although I was in these countries to represent South Africa at the highest level, so for us as athletes, we prepare to get that podium finish. And we prepare to compete against the best in the world. And to claim that victory. Because you know you've put in hours and hours of hard work. And you've gone through difficulties. Because I came from a previously disadvantaged background. So I never always had the money for equipment. I never always had the money for training, to travel. But I continued because I dared to dream and I dared to believe. And along with the belief and the dream, you must work as hard as possible. I believe as a professional, you need to put in 10,000 hours over a 10-year period in order to become that professional. And once you get that opportunity to represent your country, where there are 60, 70 countries sending their most elite athletes to represent their respective countries, it is then your honor, your pride, and your distinction to represent your country to the best of your ability. I want to say that I truly resonate with the founding provisions of this amazing movement and organization, Global Ambassadors for Peace Through Tourism, GAPT. I resonate with it because it speaks to peace, tolerance, harmony, inclusivity. And this is what I've learned as a world champion over the years. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that a press conference would be convened at the press club in Hyderabad, where I'd get to launch my book that I wrote and that I researched over a period of 10 years, that I would get to launch it in India. It stands to reason that a journey that we embark on, that we start on, you think of one thing, but the universe has a much larger plan for you. And as that journey continues, you then realize that it's more than just becoming a gold medalist. It's more than just becoming a world champion. And I'm in a position, and in my career at this point, where people may think, okay, so MJ Lee has now written this book. So as a result of him writing this book, he's now going to retire from international championships. Next year is World Championship, actually in China. And I will once again be working very hard in order to represent my country to the best of my ability. But through travel, I've interacted with cultures, with religions, with traditions. And I've developed the mindset of respect, tolerance, inclusivity. I read this beautiful quote of the Honorable Mahatma Gandhi when we visited the Gandhi Museum in Mumbai, where he makes reference to, speak not of you being Gujarati or Marathi, or Telugu. Don't speak like that. Speak of us all being, united as Indians. And we've learned many lessons from the Honorable Mahatma Gandhi in South Africa. Now, our father of democracy, the late Nelson Mandela, who we call Tata as a father, a papa, you see, as we would maybe have classified him as a nana. He spoke of us as South Africans being a rainbow nation, 11 ethnicities, 11 languages in South Africa. In comparison to India, it's maybe, it's a chota like this, right?
400 major and 4,500 minor.
Exactly. Whereas here, bahut bada, very, very big. You know, so we can learn from India with the diversity in culture, religion, and tradition, and the fact that people live in peace, harmony, and through inclusivity, we accept all of, in fact, we do not have any differences, right? We do not have differences. So our forefather of democracy, the late Nelson Mandela, he spoke about the importance of us tolerating and accepting one another. For 27 years, he was incarcerated in prison. He was on Robben Island. And when he was released from prison, he did not take revenge against the perpetrators and those who oppressed him. What he did was he united the country. And that is why today I can boast and say that my grandfathers from Indian descent came from India to South Africa. But as a person of color and as mixed race in South Africa, I have a wonderful opportunity to represent my country as a proteer, as a national athlete. Before 1994, I would not have had this opportunity. But it's because of the vision of Nelson Mandela. And if I have to quote from Bruce Lee, you guys remember who Bruce Lee was, eh? Probably the greatest Kung Fu champion and martial artist, not just movies. A true champion. Way before my time, but I grew up, you know, hero worshipping him and idolizing him. And when he asked what he thought of people living together, his answer was simple. He said, truly beneath the beautiful skies, we exist as one family, humanity. And when he lived in the United States of America, he lived with Filipinos, with Indians, with Bengalis, with the Afro-Americans, with Koreans, with the Japanese. And many of the traditional Chinese families could not understand why he mixed with everyone else. And he said, man, we are all human beings. We are all human beings. We've been created from the same life force, you see? And we share the same conditions. And it is up to us to live together as a global family. So I'm absolutely honored to be, you know, connected to GAPT. And I think this book that I've written just comprises of 3 parts. One, it tells my story, where I've come from as a humble young boy from Cape Town, and then rising up from there and making the correct decisions, not choosing a life of antisocial behavior, knowing that our youth also need opportunities, and I'm hoping that inspires our youth. So it tells my story. Wo de mingje magia wu kung fu di nam fei jai yu wu shu. I never thought that I would end up speaking Mandarin. As a boy from Cape Town, whose father is from Indian descent, and my mother is from Germany and Turkey, and a cross between these 2 countries. It is absolutely amazing. My grandfather came as a pauper from India to South Africa in 1909, and he had no job, no opportunities, but he worked because that was the family culture and tradition in India, in the village. And he used to walk up the mountain every day in Cape Town, and he would chop down trees and replant it, obviously, because it was beneficial to the environment. And what he would do is he would then cut it up into bags, and he would carry these bags of wood down the mountain and sell it at our harbor in Cape Town. And he did this for 10 years, not waiting on anyone to do anything for him. So I think, you know, I've inherited that we should be prepared to work for something, and we should be prepared to make the sacrifices. So that is the background to my story and where I've come from and why I've chosen Kung Fu. And then there are 4 chapters in the book that speaks about my travels in China. 7 years training there, living there, getting an opportunity to represent my country at 5 world championships. And then the ethnicities that exist in China. China has 56 ethnicities, and there are over 120 languages, but 55 that are officially recognized. So still small compared to India. So the next time I go to China, I will say, well, if you talk about, ethnic diversity in China, look at my grandfather's country in India. Look at the ethnicities there and the diversities there. So there are 4 chapters in the book actually speaks about my travels in China and all the ethnic minorities and diversities that you will find in China, particularly the Hui people that live in the north of China. And then the last chapter, which is perhaps a bit of an emotional chapter, it's classified as my source of inspiration. It's a chapter that is devoted to my late mother, Junnad Chafeker. She was my source of inspiration, and probably one of the many reasons behind me achieving the success that I have achieved. And I think the lesson is, if you have your mother still with you, appreciate your mother. If you have your father still with you, appreciate your father. If you have, your grandparents with you, appreciate them. Because the prayer of a parent and a grandparent for a child and a grandchild, nothing can supersede that. So the book, Kung Fu, My Journey, the History, is dedicated to my mother, and I think it's a tribute to all women. And the lesson that I'm hoping to leave with the readers: love, honor, respect our women, mothers, sisters, wives, fiancés, daughters. Respect, love, and honor them. Because what we achieve, it is as a result of the sacrifices that they make. So I sit before you today in India, launching a book at your press club. And my mother has passed on 2 months ago. But she made me into the champion that I am today. It's because of her that I am the man that I am today. And I look forward to coming back to India again. Not in another 20 years, because by that time I would have then retired from Kung Fu internationally. But I really look forward to working very closely with GAPT, and I want to applaud Mr. Tajammul Hussain and all the members that are connected to this wonderful organization. And I think we need organizations like this globally to activate and reactivate our source of humanity. I thank you. Shishini, Chachien,